action.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. I'm so glad to be here sharing some poems with you on a beautiful summer night on the stage where I can hear crickets. I have some lights pointed at me, otherwise I'm sure I would see the stars out in the sky, so really nice to be here with all of you. And I'm gonna dive right into some poems to share. Some are new from this summer that I haven't actually read aloud before. Some go back quite a ways, but I hope that you enjoy. I'll start with a poem that I actually wrote quite a while ago about the process of going to pick up my dog, Bela, from Georgia. So I was driving from Michigan to Georgia, where she was a rescue, and she passed away earlier this summer, so this will be for her to start us out. Advertising the hunt. We are 1,000 miles from Georgia. Last night's wind has pushed the snow back into the road, piled it in sleek, deep drifts that stretch, I'm sure, for the next 15 miles. Only abandoned churches out this way, vacant barns, the remains of lemonade stands. Watching us pass, a collie that looks like a lion. Her eyes, I think, want to run. We are 1,000 miles from Georgia, where a dog of our own waits for us to lift her from the confines of her cage, bring her home. I am wondering how light the gold of her hair will be when we pass a sign painted on cracked plywood advertising pheasant hunts, 4 birds for $64. And already there is a new ribbon bound to the trembling plum in my chest that waves like a white flag and is ready to turn the hunter around. Thank you. Let me see here. Forgive me while I sort through my files. Thank God for Wi-Fi right now. This is actually a poem that was inspired by a prompt from Seth, and it's called "Love in Action," written earlier this summer. And it's about my son Wilder, who is 20 months old right now. Wilder's world is 2 whales kissing, a sailboat floating through grass, the wind through the soft buds blossoming against the windowsill. I lift a heart-shaped branch of small budding pine cones to his small budding face, and he is love to behold, beholding it. Later, there will be a page of greens and browns and blues and fingerprint smudges of pink, and together we will know what they are. Little love, I would gather all of the water and all of the trees and all of the creatures. I would gather every garden, every wave, every river stone wet with current. I would gather together the air and the mountains and the entirety of the sky. And I would lay them across every desk and every wall and every window of every politician, every judge, every officer of the state. I would beg the breath of hummingbirds, bees, bottlenose dolphins, the spit of walruses, camels, llamas, the tips of feathers from falcons, the smallest scales from the tails of trout. And I would ask one eyelash, one droplet of sweat left after lovemaking, one microscopic crescent of skin from every reader. And I would pour it all into the ink of every pen that power touches, that they would behold your whales, your sailboats, your grass, your blossoming branches, and sign the world back over to love. Thank you. I have Dogs will just appear a lot tonight, maybe. This is a poem that I've actually never read out loud ever. I teach creative writing, English and literature, and sometimes just to get my students warmed up, I will ask them all to come up with a word, and we'll write as a warm-up prompt where they'll share a word, and it's almost stream of consciousness writing. So this is an untitled poem inspired by my students a couple of springs ago. What wave? What rhythm of summer sky? What north wind? What smoothie of sound does the dog of light follow home? Sometimes I wade through the day like it's already done, like the clouds overhead already know the shapes they might become by night. The dog howls against all that is crass, all that is not this present moment. To live anywhere but in this breath now is crazy, the howl says. Return to this life. The sky soggy with parachutes, every bumble of a breeze offering itself to bring you back to here, now. Let's see here. I really had not planned to have this be a night of animal inspired poems, but it's turning out that way. This one is also reaching back a ways. It's called Scriptures. Can I tell about bears, about elephants? Can I tell one true thing about the way a bird extends its wing to catch the current left by breath and wind? And will you care? Will you, who may be like me, who closes your eyes in the old battle scenes at the thought of wounded horses, will you be willing to go there, that hour of night when loss finally swells like a too ripe plum, inconsolable sorrow, when the weight of what we've done, what we've each of us done to animals lilts and sinks down hard, that time when it's dark and the still air over the lake wishes badly to stir and whip and beat back, but cannot? Will you enter into that hour that is, I'm sure, without consolation, and rest your head on the scriptures of wolves? See here. What else do I have for you? Do we need a pandemic poem? I think we do. This is after pandemic. There is a light at the edge of this tunnel. It will come. After pandemic. What is the hope of hands now? What do the untouched kaleidoscopes of skin at the base of the neck and the tip of the tongue long for most after all this absence? There is a new tulip in the yard. It knows the touch of day and night, when to open, when to rest its own warmth against the darkness. In defiance or not, it knows how to live in both worlds. If asked, I would say, yes, I think it is a happy flower. If asked, I would say, stop your resignation. You, who perhaps is hardened and now tumbles like an empty glass onto the world. Stop your resignation that is fear of yesterday happening all over again. There is no such thing. Stop at the mango that has fallen perfectly at your feet. Stop it from rotting there. Please stop and pick it up. Do it now. Touch it. Something in you, something in me is desperate to bloom. Once you were an empty glass and I was water, or I was an empty glass and you were water, or there was never a glass at all and we have always been water, and here we are now, a mango tree within each other, a people on the edge of new life. We had a bug crawling at my back for that whole poem. I really kept it together, so everyone knows. I'll find one more to share with you tonight. The crickets are kind of their own poem right now. Let me see here. I'm sorry, I'm looking for a particular poem. This is a really short piece that I'll end with. It's a poem where the title is also the first line of the poem. When the train lets its whistle go. When the train lets its whistle go, and all the birds along the river rise in an exhale of white, milky whir of a compass spun, I think I've been wherever they're going once before. Thank you, everyone, so much for being here, for listening. Be well, love and light, stay safe, and I hope we will all be together soon.